So Jan K in Snowball Gate, mowing customer, scope of work. She's looking for a lot of bush trimming, bed cleanup, some mulching, trimming of 2 shrubs on the side of the house, trimming of a rose bush in the backyard with a little bit of topsoil, and then mulch back there as well to kind of fill in a gap above the fence. So I'll get walking here in the front. All right, so basically all the shrubs are very overgrown. She hasn't trimmed them in quite some time. Her husband used to do it. He's not around anymore. So they've just kind of been neglected. She wants to keep them. She doesn't want them to die out, but she does want them dramatically cut back. So we're going to try to get aggressive with the trimming. They're pretty mature plants, so they should be okay in coming back, being that we do this in the early spring. So starting on this one up front here. I'm just going to put my umbrella down so I can point here. So this shrub. So what I told her is the backside, we're just not even really going to trim it, just because I don't want to completely shock the shrubs and trim all the sides of it and then potentially kill it out. So we're going to leave the back alone, just so that we're not totally shocking the plant. And then even this side, I would just do a light trim on this side, just get it where it's like starts from this dull green and it'll turn to kind of a brighter green. And then in the front and then the tops will get a lot more aggressive. It's gonna be a little abnormal because she wants them cut back pretty dramatically. She said her husband used to cut them back and they'd be like brown, and then they'd eventually like come back. So I would say it's gonna be painful doing it probably, but cut it all the way back so it's like brown, and maybe even some of the spots down low it'll actually be bare. So I would say in this area bare, cutting it back pretty dramatically. This whole area like brown, and maybe even the tip tops, trim it down so that's bare as well. The hope is over the course of the season in the spring it'll come back and be green eventually, but it'll then be cut back dramatically because it's taken over a walkway and can't see her window and she can't see our front door and all that stuff. Holly, same kind of deal, cut it back pretty dramatically. This one I would have it like bare in some spots and then kind of filled in some spots. So I would take this one back as much as you can without it being completely bare. So that one maybe a little bit less aggressive than this one, but still fairly as aggressive as you can without it being completely barren, which isn't going to be a ton, but and then a little bit of mulch under there, a little bit of mulch under there. Definitely clean up these beds for her, edge them out, clean them up. Haven't been mulching quite some time, so try to clear out the weeds and such. That'll also help if we can rake out debris and weeds and stuff from under there and get a good bit of mulch under there. That should help with having good soil for the shrubs. And then same thing here, this guy, just trim it. For these, I would probably just trim them back as much as you can. Like probably those are more concerned about cutting them back a little more dramatically. And these I would just trim back as much as you can right before it starts to turn brown, and then leave it be. Same thing, clean up the beds, edge it, and a little bit of mulch. And then these two guys are gonna probably want the 12-foot ladder, honestly, so you could take the truck with the ladder racks. You could probably do it with the 8-foot and the extender, but just looking to trim both of these down and just shrink them both down. That one she knows, and we talked about it, has a big vine on it. She knows it's gonna be a nightmare to try to like pull that off it, but overall just shrink the whole thing down, just shrink this whole thing down pretty aggressively. I would say she was considering even cutting the thing out completely, so I would cut it down probably 3 foot, 4 foot maybe, probably 4 or 5 foot even. Get pretty aggressive in cutting it down, probably to about here. So while we're at it, maybe just clean up some of these leaves and stuff are here. And then lastly, I'm not going to go back there because I got to go like through a garage and stuff, and I think our gate might be locked right now. But this rose bush here, we're going to trim that rose bush up, clean up the bed underneath it, mulch it, and then you'll notice she's got wood running here on the opposite side in her backyard, because the dog's escaping, she said. So if we can bring in some topsoil, pile it in there, pack it in, maybe even put some on this side, pack it in, just to prevent that dog from being able to get out. And then she doesn't need to put all that wood there to hold it in, would help her out. And then one other quick note, I'm talking about it, and I'll put a note on here from Mo, and she did, you know, a lot of compliments, very excited about all the work we do, but clippings in the pool, we just got to be a lot more mindful of that. So shoot blockers, blowing it away from the pool, and whatever we got to do just to avoid getting clippings in the pool. But I'll put a note on, just calling it out, and that's it.